right. Welcome back to the George Poulos podcast, baby. Getting my Lotus here on my little chair. I do still have a chair. I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff in my apartment, but I do still have a chair and a desk, and I gotta say, these objects have been coming in handy. So it's a really sunny spring day here in early May. Little poem there for you. A lot of energy. I can feel this spring energy arising in my body right now. It's very intense, especially here in New York City. It's like an energy explosion. This is nothing new. I think if you go back into the podcast archive, you could probably hear me saying the same thing last spring or a couple springs ago. It's really intense, really expansive, a lot of change. I've been going through a lot of changes that I'll reflect about here. I've kind of been starting these episodes just by talking about my schedule a little bit, which I think is kind of cute. Today's schedule is a little bit different. I'm actually recording, what time is it? It's 1:43 p.m. 143, those numbers sound familiar. I think it means love. 143. Let me know. But usually I had been recording these in the morning, but I had a client reschedule for earlier in the morning, and then I hosted my meditation with one beautiful person. It was a great session. I want to give you guys an update about my offerings. Maybe I'll do that first. So I switched. There's actually a lot I could say about that. Oh, but before that, my friend John, listener of the podcast, my friend John texted me saying, he texted me asking why there's no podcast episode by the time he got to his lunch break. This is why my schedule got rearranged a little bit. And then I was weaving in, Facebook Marketplace deals. So the day my day looked today, I woke up. It's really funny. I've been sleeping. You guys might remember I dismantled my couch, but I kept the cushions, and I've been sleeping on the cushions instead of my mattress. I'm not sure I need a mattress, guys. I've been sleeping really soundly on these couch cushions right by the window here. I feel like I'm sleeping under this tree in a way, and it feels, it just feels better. And that's kind of aligning with my Walden year where I'm simplifying, I'm shedding a lot of stuff. I'm really questioning how much do I actually need? And as an update for you on that, guys, I'm shedding a lot of stuff. Major insight that I've already shared on Substack, on TikTok. I've been writing, creating, and expressing like crazy, guys. It's been awesome. But I had this visceral realization that I'm in this apartment and I'm surrounded by all this junk that isn't mine. A past version of me that is long gone signed this lease and accumulated all this junk. He was trying his best. He was doing what he thought would make him happy. And now that version of me is gone and I'm just in his apartment surrounded by his stuff. So that was a really interesting, visceral realization I had. And actually, there have been waves of grief with all this letting go, but that particular one was more like a feeling of liberation. Oh wow, I really have stepped through this portal into this new way of being. And now I've got to clean up the mess that my past self made and sell all these objects that I don't want to bring with me to the next chapter. And sometimes that can be really frustrating and tedious. I did give myself a lot of work, but it's also this is just where I'm at in the process and the journey, and I do appreciate it as well. Just flipping my hat because it's actually a little, oh, hello, pigeon. It's actually a little bright. It's getting a little bright here facing the window. So I won't go too much into this change, but I switched my community platform from School to Patreon. And that was actually a part of this Walden year simplification shedding. So School it's a hefty subscription. It costs $99 a month. And I noticed that when I was doing School, don't get me wrong, we had some incredible community calls on there, but I noticed literally right on my 28th birthday, April 13th, which is my Saturn return. So they say that that's a big shift. Something shifted with the way that I wanted to do my offering, and I don't even know if I want to get too much into it, but I eventually decided I'm going back to Patreon again, and I've been actually feeling really amazing since making that move, and that was really a very intuitive thing. I was really scared to shift the offering and to communicate it with everybody, but it was very intuitive. I battled with that intuition for 3 days. I ultimately went for it. I had the help of my friend Teresa, helped guide me through that, guide me to my own knowing, and ended up going for it. And then once I made the decision, it felt like this huge release. Like I let go of the past version of myself who thought it was all about platforms and optimization and all this. And this is so similar to all the shedding I've been talking about with video editing and perfectionism and all this. Something really simplified. Something really simplified. And there's like a big, okay, with all this simplification, I'm sure I've told you guys I'm eyeing up reducing my rent significantly. And it's interesting because I've been so focused on trying to expand the income, which has put me into this really like, I want to say grasping and like try hard mode. And then all of a sudden, I just like didn't want to do that anymore. And I decided, you know what, let me actually reduce my overhead, especially as I'm having this visceral experience through my spiritual journey that I don't need any of this stuff. And I'm feeling viscerally disgusted by it. It's exciting to me, the idea to make my life as lightweight and inexpensive as possible so that I can just be without overly grasping, without needing anything from anybody. So I can really just be free. So I've been leaning that way, reducing the overhead, simplifying my life, just making it so incredibly simple. And the School platform kind of shed as a result of that shift. And I noticed subtly, and along with with shedding the School platform, I shed a certain kind of energy, like a certain kind of heightened energy, like things just kind of calmed down. There's been more peace, tranquility, and stillness, but yeah, I'm really excited. Like I still don't know what's next, but I'm just continuing to lean in and trust, and I'm shedding past identities in the form of objects and habits and patterns, and it's just creating so much space. And I can feel that in that space is emerging this feeling of freedom. And I don't know what's going to come of that freedom, but I'm really enjoying it already. It feels like feels like my soul is getting to like exhale. Yeah, I've been writing and expressing like crazy. It's been really fun. I've been doing a daily letter on Substack. Really personal letter sharing my journey. It's very much just like this podcast, but really the day's insight. The podcast is sort of like the culmination of the week's insight in verbal form. The Substack is more of like it's almost like the morning pages, but public. But actually, since I'm aware that it's like a letter that I'm publishing, it's actually more concise in a cool way that I'm really enjoying. So that's been really cool. And yeah, I think in general, to describe the shift that I'm going through, it's shifting away from doing, and shifting into being, and allowing action and creativity to emerge from that being instead of a doing that like thinks it has to strive and achieve and all of this. So it's really, and I've been here before, but it's really, again, tapping into this being, this flow, this ease, this aligned action, this trust, this intuition. An insight I did want to share with you guys is that I have been collapsing the time between intuition and action. When I was debating, when I had the intuition to leave school behind and move back to Patreon, I felt so embarrassed, like I'm going around the cycle again. Everyone's seen me try this stuff over and over again. First of all, you know what, guys? I think it's so cool that I haven't given up, that I'm still trying on this journey. And I don't just mean which platform to use and all that. But I'm very much in this overall journey, like still trying, still giving it my all. So I actually think that's a thing worthy of celebration. I just keep stumbling and falling and making mistakes, but I keep learning from those mistakes and getting up and trying again. And it's forming this incredible slow upward spiral. I always thought I would figure out the right thing and then it would be done and all figured out. But actually, my journey is this slow seasonal upward spiral where every time I try something, I learn something, but then I realize it's not quite right. And then I try something else and I learn something, and then I come back around to the same thing and it feels like I'm going in a circle, but it's actually this upward spiral. And I think, at least in this moment, I'm learning to really trust it. Oh, and to finish the thought that I was going to say, the more I collapse the time between intuition and action, and when I was when I had the intuition to switch from school to Patreon, I delayed that for a while, and that process of delay was very painful. I was just procrastinating. It was very painful. Everything kind of stopped. My body felt out of whack. Everything felt out of whack. And then once I leaned into my intuition again, everything opened up again and everything started flowing. And since then, I've been doing a pretty good job of collapsing the time between intuition and action. And this has been arising in different sort of scenarios. So one scenario is like I felt an intuition to reach out to someone because I wanted to talk to them one on one, and I just did it. And I didn't have a clear reason why I wanted to talk to them, but I knew I had to do it, so I did it. I reached out. And what I'm just noticing is if we can be in the flow of intuition, just taking action on intuition over and over, resisting, the mind is going to want to delay it because it's going to want to analyze the intuition, make sure it fits into the plan, but the mind doesn't actually know what the plan is, guys. Like, how many times are we going to fall into this trap? Hint over and over and over again. But like, we're sitting here in the present moment at the threshold between the past and the future. We don't know what's next. That's what it means to be alive. We don't know what's next. So when you have an intuitive pull to do something, to reach out to someone, to try something new, to go somewhere, to say something, the mind is trying to map the past onto the future and see if it fits, but we don't know what's in the future. So that intuition is a deeper guidance, or it's a guidance from a higher power, from your higher self. It's a guidance from a higher self or a higher power that does have the wider perspective and sees what your mind cannot. So it's really best to lean into that. And the more I lean into that, I've been like circling around the conclusion of this point for a while. The more I lean into that, guys, the more synchronicities, serendipities, angel numbers, signs, confirmations, they just keep coming faster and faster and faster everywhere, every day. Magical moments, miracles, back to back to back to back. And I'm noticing that all that stuff, that serendipity, that synchronicity, it's a product of alignment. It's a product of being. It's a product of trusting your intuition and taking action on it, because that opens up the next piece, and then there's the next synchronicity, and then there's the next confirmation that you're on the right path. So it's just interesting for me. I'm speaking on this podcast right now from a very connected and trusting place. And I also look back on my journey, and I've been here before and then I've lost it so deeply. And really, when I say I lost it, what I mean is I get just totally lost in the illusion that nothing's okay as it is, and I have to strive and achieve something and get somewhere else, and then I'll be okay. And that's the whole fundamental error. And it's just, oh man. And then when you're in that error of mind, it's like impossible to follow your intuition, because your mind is trying to assert its own plan onto life. But like I've been saying, the mind, what's ahead is unknown. The mind can't know. So when the mind tries to assert its plan and suppress the intuition, it's just fucking everything up, guys. So I'm like, as I go through this transitional period, not knowing what's next with my move, I've also decided, and I have to be honest when I say this, I'm like, I can't tell if I'm fully ready to claim this, but I don't think I can do this product review side hustle anymore, guys. It's like I'm in this process of shedding, and these objects from this side hustle that I just literally think are useless are coming in, and I feel like the whole reason that I did that side hustle was out of fear, and it was because I needed money to sustain this overconsumptive lifestyle that I'm having this big awakening that I don't need, and I can just shed it all and reduce it all and address the overconsumption and live very simply and reduce my expenses that didn't need to be there, so I can just be and focus on what I'm actually here to do, which is to express myself and help people and stay committed to my spiritual journey so that I can help people more, so that I can continue to grow and be of greater service. It's just all coming in so clearly, and then I'll get a box from Amazon with a useless product that I don't care about, to make money to fund this apartment that's not even mine anymore, and to fund this lifestyle that an old version of myself got myself into. So there's a deeper shedding happening there as well. I want to acknowledge the little bit of money fear inside that's afraid to fully let that go. But like, when I am getting these products in the mail and then I'm adding to the pile, I'm already in this process of shedding all this stuff out of my apartment, and then I'm adding to the pile of stuff that I have to shed. It's just giving me the worst feeling in my body. Like, my body is really telling me very loud and clear that it's time to move on and step forth into the unknown. So but I feel this fear about money. So basically what I will do publicly is ask God to please help me let this go if it's not in the higher plan for myself and all beings. Please help me let this Please help me have the courage to let this go. Thank you, God. There's a theme here that's been coming up a lot with community and clients, and just in my own journey and the things that I want to express and share. And it's that this product review side hustle for me is a perfect example. It's the fear of saying no to what is no longer serving us. We fear saying no to what's no longer serving us. And again, this can come up in all sorts of ways. It can be a job that's no longer aligned. It can be people are inviting you to things that are no longer aligned. It can be a relationship that's no longer aligned. If it's no longer aligned, it's going to require you to say no. It's the same situation. It's like you're in a life that a past version of you built, but you've evolved. You're now a new person, so it requires you to say no. But it's scary to say no, right? Because the mind wants to cling onto what's safe and comfortable. Just like what I'm experiencing with the product review side hustle. I know that there's money coming in, it's safe, it's secure, but my being has moved on from that. So it's creating this pain and this dissonance. And then if I keep saying yes, if I get those emails and I keep saying yes, it fills my schedule, my time, my energy, my focus with this stuff that's no longer aligned. So then there's no spaciousness in my life. And what I'm noticing when we're in these transitional periods, stepping through these portals, you need to open up spaciousness. So you need to be able to say no and clear up that space. And you might not have a plan for what's next. Again, because we can't really have a plan for what's next. We can think we have a plan, but that's only an illusion of mind, right? So really when we say no and we clear up that misaligned stuff, we're just going to be in this open space, this open liminal transitional space for a while. And that's really, really scary, because then the fear is, what if no more money comes in? What if no more relationships come in? What if I end up alone and dead? Right? These are the fears. So then we keep saying yes to what's misaligned instead of saying no. But then there's no space in our life when really, if we say no to all these things and clear up that space and sit in that space, this is where we also want to be careful about going into coping mechanisms and numbing patterns, because it's in that open space that you've got to face yourself and you've got to face the pain you've been suppressing. And it's also in that open space that what's aligned for your new self is allowed to emerge in that space. So that can look like new people, new opportunities, new experiences, new forms of creative expression, new direction. It needs space to emerge. If you're continuing to say yes to what your past self signed up for but is no longer serving you, and in fact it's hurting you, I'm sure you can relate to, it hurts me when I'm getting these products and I don't want to do it. It's hurting me. And then there's literally no room for what's next to come in. So this is a universal thing that's going to happen again and again as we continue to shed layers, and as we continue to walk home and come closer and closer to who we truly are. This is going to happen again and again, right? This goes in seasons, guys. Seasons. It's spring. It's a season of change. It's always more intense than I thought. You could probably go back to old spring episodes and you could probably quote me saying the same thing. Oh, I forgot how intense this season of change is. It's really intense. I feel like the floor of everything I thought I knew, I feel like is collapsing under me. But again, right now, I got to say, I'm feeling more alignment and freedom and excitement, actually, as opposed to fear, which is good. But on the other side of this coin, these transitions also come with fear, grief, nostalgia, right? And we can just feel all of this. We can just let ourselves feel all of this. It's all part of the beautiful, beautiful, heartbreaking human experience that I'm very glad to share with you all. I'm very glad to share with you all. Despite what's going on with, selling all these objects and I don't know what's next with my apartment and all of this, I have been feeling just really happy to be sharing this existence with so many amazing, beautiful people like you all, like people in my Patreon community, formerly the school group, also my teachers, my mentors, all my spiritual friends out there in the world. Just feeling so grateful, and also been really taking a look at my life. And there are certainly hard days and I certainly get triggered and all this, but I've been looking at my recent weeks and it's like, dang, I'm pretty dedicated to my spiritual inner practices right now. I'm following my intuition. I'm reaching out to the people I want to. I'm making the changes and transitions and trying things that I want to, and I'm going for it. I'm putting myself out there. I'm writing my heart out and being so honest on my newsletter. I'm really expressing myself, really, I've been connected to this artist side of me. I've really been, putting it all out there on social media, really trying to help people, serve people, trying to just align my life in a whole way that, that works for me so that I can, be good, so that I can help others and bring others together. But yeah, the image of me like waking up every day and just passionately writing this letter and just being so honest and sort of dropping the need to wear a mask and pretend, and just being so honest because I'm starting to see that it is this upward spiral journey, or you could also say it is just this walking back home, this process of remembering who we are. So it's almost like, oh yeah, there's no need to try to say the right things. It's all, I just posted this on Threads recently. Everything that I say and express, and this goes for you too, it's all just a signpost of when we look back, like when we're about to die, it's like, oh, this was a signpost. Like, this is where I was during this spring. Like I was figuring it out, I was trying my best. I was figuring it out. And then a few years later, oh, here's what I wrote. This is another signpost on my journey back home. And then we can look back on our journey and be like, oh, wow, this is how I found my way back home. This was what my journey looked like with all these twists and turns. And then other people are going to be able to benefit from that journey. So this is another reason I advocate creativity, writing, self-expression. It's kind of inherently a form of teaching, which is really, really cool. So come on through to Patreon. There's a free tier and a $9 community tier. The $9 is going to like unlock everything. I'm still not sure what the free one's going to be, but that will tap you in. And I was thinking maybe I could keep the meditations free and the open-ended community gatherings paid. I was also thinking I could do instead of like a weekly, the same thing every week, maybe a monthly calendar, so I could vary it a little bit more, because I know there's some people who would like different times because they're at work. They're at work during the current session, so I'll keep you all posted. So join the Patreon to tap into that. I'm feeling really aligned and excited about hosting the community there, so that's really cool. And then one-on-one guidance and mentorship on your spiritual and creative path Of course, I'm here for you if you're interested in that. All that is in the show notes in the description. And I hope you just have such an incredible weekend. Reminder to just let yourself let go this weekend. Just be this weekend. Feel that cathartic release in your body. You've done enough this week, I promise you. So I'm sending you very, very much love. I'm now thinking of more insights I could share. But that's okay. Also, I'm pouring it out, guys, on Substack every single day. A lot on TikTok, on Instagram, on Threads. So I've got everything set up in that bio link. It's all there, really organized nicely. So wherever you need to find me in whatever way you want to connect, it's all right there in that one link. So I almost want to keep hanging out with you guys. Dang. All right, we'll leave it here though. Be very, very well. I'll see you next time. Bye.